The Detroit Cooley Cardinals are the champions.
You don't need that one. Ever. We got to do that. Al. No, that's Calvin. And welcome to State Champions Podcast, where there's always a celebration. On State Champions Podcast, we discuss people, politics, community, and culture. And what would a podcast be? With two great friends, former coach, current coach, former high school teammates, and forever, Class A. Class A state champions 1987, 1988 in Detroit, Michigan. What would it be without us discussing sports? But today, we're going to discuss something else. But I'm here. I'm your man. I'm your host, co-captain Raphael Peterson. To my left, to your right, my brother, my friend, co-captain George T. Ward. Let's give him a round of applause.
How you doing, everybody?
Man, how you doing today, boy? Man, y'all jokers busy, man. You off the road, on the road, doing your thing with the team. What's going on with you, man?
Now you know what it is. It's June.
Absolutely.
Nothing else to be said. You start talking about graduations and all of that, and proms and summer league training, getting guys together.
Yeah.
Losing 6 seniors, so I'm in the lab more now this summer than I've been in a long time now. So I've been hands on. Plus, I lost an assistant coach and my JV coach. So
Okay.
got to do my thing.
Oh, okay. Everybody, let's listen before we get started. Let's make sure you always got some requests.
That's right.
Let's make sure y'all follow us on IG at SESCP lowercase 313. Make sure we do that. Everybody, we need our teammates to subscribe, tap the likes, and hit the bell so you'll know the next game, which is AKA our next topic. Today, G, we're gonna talk about a couple of good things. It's a sensitive subject. We're gonna have a little fun.
Yeah.
But I think it's needed for the community. We're gonna have some solutions. We're gonna uplift the community and maybe improve some relationships that may have been on a little downturn, in the last few years for a long time.
Yeah.
So G, we're gonna have some great guests on our show tonight. We're gonna have some great guests on our show tonight. We were supposed to have my dad on, but I think he's struggling a little bit to do his to pipe in because he couldn't get on there. But you can call in at 313-314-8880. And again, that's
314-314-8880.
And of course, it's our Father's Day tribute. And without the Father's Day tribute, I mean, what would it be if we didn't do a Father's Day tribute and we're dads, okay?
No, ain't no question.
You know what I mean? We have to do that. So I think that's part of the whole thing is coming in and talking about this. We did a Mother's Day tribute,
Indeed.
which is cool.
Indeed.
But
Great show, too.
No, it was an outstanding show. It was an outstanding show. So let's we're gonna do this because my dad, he was gonna try to call in. He's down in Columbus, Georgia, but you know how it is with the older people. They technically challenged.
Yeah.
Couldn't get it together. But I'm sure
that.
he'll call in, and he wanted to be in the studio, but things don't always happen the way you want them and everything. So
love.
yeah, you know what I'm saying? If he could have came in, but that's how it goes sometimes. But we also have another guest on. We got 2 other people on today. Our next guest that we're gonna have on is our very own clinical therapist. Yeah. And he always doing great work, always giving words of encouragement. One thing that I like about Brother Al, he gonna send you a text or some type of inspirational quote that when you look at it in the morning, I'm not exaggerating. You look at it in the morning, you be like, man, this dude here, he is one of a kind. So let's give Brother Al a round of applause.
That's right.
Brother Al, can you hear us, man? Can you hear us? He probably still he technically challenged as well, so we ain't gonna worry about it. We ain't gonna worry about Al. We're gonna get to him. He'll call in as well. So we have another guest. G, go on and introduce our next guest, man.
Wow. None other. Comes from a great family. The brother's got the Emmy program going to help our young people.
Okay.
He's got a heck of a fathers program. I mean, he does so much as it relates to our children, our fathers, our community. Obviously, they all tie in. You can't talk about fathers and families if you're not talking about the entire community. None other than Calvin, man, who's a great man. Man, we appreciate you, Cal. Give Cal a round of applause.
Brother Cal, how you doing today, boy?
What's the deal, Pickles?
What's up, baby?
How you feeling?
Oh man, just blessed, man. Blessed, man. Blessed.
All right, absolutely. So, listen, I have to tell this quick story, G, and for Brother Calvin, he's gonna talk more in a little while about what he's doing with his organization. But I have to tell you this quick story about how we connected, and I was always thinking in my mind, man, I want to start a good brothers and good sister neighborhood where I would get a big old part of land.
There we go.
And build houses, but the only way you can get in, you have to be a good brother and a good sister. So needless to say, that didn't happen because we didn't have the funding for that. But that was my ideology. But then I said, well, we got to do something because we always hear about the women, and rightfully so, but we never really hear about the dads.
That's right.
So I said, man, maybe we could do something, a tribute on the State Champions podcast to the dads in June. Love for obvious reasons. Love this Father's Day going to be coming up and so on and so forth. But just so happened on this particular day, I'm going to tell you how the universe works. Magazine came in, Black Magazine. So I'm rummaging through just to see what's in there. And I see Good Fathers Only.
That's right.
And Brother Calvin Mann is in there. He's featured in the Black Magazine. Was it last month's magazine? No, it's last month's May. I think it was the May issue. And he was featured in there. But it's just amazing how I was thinking of something, but somebody else was already doing it, and they doing some great things already. And brother, like George said, brother Calvin comes from a big family. And anybody who comes from Detroit, when me and him was talking, he said, man, my brother's a Cornell man.
Cornell man.
Anybody from sports in the D, Corn, gotta know Corn.
His cousin.
Listen, think about it. You gotta know that. So think about this, brother Calvin. What school is he at right now, coaching?
Missouri.
Missouri.
He's at Missouri, and he had some other stops. He was assistant coach at Western, Central, I believe, and Dayton, if I recall correctly.
He was
Iowa State, Western Michigan.
I was sending a young man to him. He recruited Percy Gibson out of Detroit Southeastern. So Corn and I have been close forever. So it was just natural that Cal and I connected. But you got to mention his cousins too.
Oh man, listen, it's probably too many of them. You mention them.
Yeah, man. DJ.
Hey, George. I told Raphael I saw him with his little short shorts and everything back in '80.
That's right.
Right? Him, Danielle Ferguson, all the boys used to come over to the Dale and scrimmage with Tally and all them boys.
Back in the day.
Back in the day.
And the crazy thing about it is, Cal, now you look at it, as Ralph said, you look how the universe works. Now we're in this thing together, trying to unite the community. And again, trying to unite the community, one father, one family, one parent, one household at a time. So this is a wonderful segment. We appreciate you coming on, man. I know Ralph got a couple questions for you, and I do as well. But Ralph, let's get him going over. You ready to do something else for me?
Yeah, we gonna get to the question, but I definitely wanted to say we got to get to it. Dads and fathers. We are celebrating Father's Day this weekend, and we don't get a lot of respect. I mean, we don't get a lot of respect. It's just part of it. That's what the community does.
Understatement.
And so it's funny. I was reading today on an online publication, and Father's Day is, in terms of ranking, in terms of being celebrated, we're ranked number 20th. Number 20th. Now, listen, think about this. You know what's before us, G. Listen, I'm going to tell you. Halloween. I mean, come on, Halloween, man. So we got to do something. Halloween.
Now, is that Father's Day overall, or are we specifically talking about Father's Day in the African American community?
Listen, I'm telling you what the publication said. I ain't gonna get in that deep into it. I'm gonna go with that week number 20, and we need to improve.
Yeah.
So that Halloween, you telling me we ain't better than the ghosts and goblins and the witches, man?
No, man, you know candy, man. Come on, they want some candy. It's understood. Costume.
Well, okay. So see, you always got some answers. We were behind Arbor Day.
Yeah.
Do you even know what Arbor Day is?
Arbor Day? Don't do that to me. I didn't know Arbor Day.
That's Arbor Day.
That's the weed holiday, right?
Yeah, that's the week. We got a call, and I think my dad is trying to call in already. He trying to get online. Can caller, Dad? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can. Sound what's the dealio, baby?
What's going on, Dad? I'm glad you.
Ain't nothing too much, man. I hate. I couldn't do that hookup, but like you said, older people, I challenge you. This focus. You're right.
Yeah. So yeah. So we just getting started. I don't know if you heard me say this, that we rank number 20 out of all the holidays being celebrated.
All the holidays, even under Halloween. Really? Are you kidding me, man?
Halloween, man. So when you think about it, and I said Arbor Day, I don't even know what Arbor Day is. Do you know what that
Nor
is?
do I. But we up under that.
Reefer or something. Is that a state of Michigan holiday?
No, they said Arbor Day, man. I don't know all that, but and I was thinking, well, not even if
Arbor Day,
not obviously Martin Luther King Day, but I was thinking we should at least be a tie with him because we all brothers. We all should be at least a tie with him.
I think it kind of ties in though. I remember being a young fella, and obviously with Torian being a young fella, and one Christmas, I didn't get anything from my mother, and he did. Okay. And I said, well, I guess I understand. I guess once you become a father, it's mothers still get their thing. Being a father is a very to say it's underrated is an understatement, but
it's no question.
It's
no question. Go ahead.
And I think you do so much, and most true fathers don't look for a lot of accolades and things of that nature.
Of course,
so
it's just not in our nature to do that.
It's in our nature to do that, Pop. So here we are on Father's Day. 65 to 70% of us are preparing a meal.
Yeah, of course. Well, I mean, if you nice with the grill, I'm gonna be on the grill.
Yeah, you're gonna be on the grill, but I think the ladies should be making some turkey and dressing or something.
But let me say this, fellas.
Okay.
First of all, to all of y'all fathers that do the right thing, that take care of their kids, that especially them boys and girls, that give them the ability to move forward and be who they want to be, but also mentor them to do other things, great things. First of all, fathers have always gotten a bad rap. Don't get me wrong, and I'm going to get a lot of flack from mothers on this statement. It has always been a general consensus that mothers love their children better than the fathers do. That's simply absolutely not true. I'm sorry,
totally false.
Mothers, I love y'all. Raphael's mother is one of the greatest mothers in the world, hands down.
No question.
My mother was one of the greatest mothers in the world, hands down. But she did not love me more than my father did. Raphael's mother did not love me more than I did.
Yeah.
We loved them differently.
Yeah.
You follow me? There's a different situation that manifests itself from fathers as opposed to mothers. Mothers are going to be more lenient. Mothers are going to be more concerning and things of that nature. Yeah. Whatever falls up under that umbrella. Fathers are going to understand that what their sons and even daughters go through is going to be completely different. And they're going to try to steer them in the way that's going to allow them to adjust to, let us just say, conversation-wise, the street, the reality of what's going on. Mothers are going to be, more passive with their children. I do understand that. I had a mother. I could not do no wrong with my mother. Period. Hands down. None. Zero. I'm kidding you not. Raphael can tell you and attest to it. I don't care what happened. My mother figured I was right. Fathers cannot afford to do that. Fathers have to get, and especially their sons, have to give them the road to success and all, without a doubt, no contradiction, manhood. You see what I'm saying? Manhood is what fathers have to give to their sons. Okay? And so with that being said, you have to understand that, again, I reiterate, please, mothers, don't get me wrong. I do not suggest that y'all are not great. I do suggest to you, under what I've learned, my mother, as much as I loved her, as much as she loved me, her love was no greater for me than my father's was.
No.
My father's was different. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it goes on with Cherry, Shine, Keefe, Raphael, Kenny, all of them. I love them different than their mothers did. But their mothers did not love them no more than I love them. I'm sorry, and that's just going to be what it is. You see what I'm saying? George, you know, you have children, and their mothers, there's no question about it, love them for real. But you have to love them differently. In fact, even your individual sons and daughters, you love them differently. You love them all equally. Yeah. Raphael, like to hug and kiss him. Yep. Sean would stand office. Cherry was way out there. Okay. You know what I'm saying?
Daddy, let's do this. We just save all your thoughts.
Okay.
We got to keep moving. So think about this.
Okay. Go ahead.
A state champion.
Okay, go ahead, son. I'm sorry.
Do y'all know who actually started Father's Day?
Wow. I don't have a clue.
Father's Day.
Well, it ain't like I started it like I knew.
Yeah.
No. Without me looking at it.
Well, no, we certainly know you didn't start it.
Yeah, so
Father's Day.
Listen,
Father's Day became.
Go ahead.
No,
Brother Calvin.
It became permanent by President Nixon.
Yes, sir. There you go, my man.
In 1971.
Yep. Wow. Yes, sir.
That's why you number 20, brothers.
Yeah. And then the funny thing, it was a lady who pushed for it. I'm gonna tell y'all this quick story. It said this is what we call state champions facts.
No question.
Young lady, 1882. Now listen how long ago this was.
1882.
1882.
Facts.
She decided to start Father's Day because her mother was giving birth to her fifth sibling and passed away. And the dad had to take care of the family. Wow. And so she started to push for Father's Day, a national father's holiday. So what ended up happening was she just kept pushing. But then there was another lady, she came in and she pushed for Mother's Day. Mother's Day was started in 1914. Wow. So the lady Miss died 57 years old. It took until she was 90 years old. And they passed it, as Brother Calvin said, Nixon passed it in 1971, and the lady died at 96. Now you think about this, that's about 83 years, 84 years. No doubt. That lady was diligent in what she was doing. So she was patient and she was resilient, and she kept fighting for a long time. Wow. So I think this goes into where I want to really kind of go in terms of this, G. A lot of people know that you and I, we do a lot of things in the city of Detroit in terms of with the youth, young men, young women, trying to keep the violence down, trying to intervene and prevent violence in our community. As coaches, you and I have had discussions about the young men that we encounter that have no relationships with their dads, or they have been told that their dads is the worst thing, or he ain't nothing. G, you and I talked about this many times. Can you elaborate? Because you said to me one time, Ralph, they have a hatred for us before they even get to us. Why do you say that, young G?
Well, when you have a damaged relationship with the father, and it has gone on for years, if you don't have an established relationship, a consistent established relationship with another male, uncle, father, or grandfather, whoever, the disdain that fills your heart, yes, sir, is incredible. So now here you are at 14, 15 years old by the time they come across Raphael Peterson. Now Raphael who is stern, a tough, loving guy, and a guy that demands full attention, discipline, and structure. And if you haven't had that from a male, and again, it's like Dad talked about, you could have received structure, and moms give out discipline the whole time, but not to receive it from a man.
Absolutely.
Who's 6'5", 6 foot 6 inches tall now, and speaking to him loud, that resentment that he has for his father goes directly toward you. And I've seen it so much where no one can tell me anything different. Now, it's different forms of it, it's different levels to it, but I think oftentimes the young men have such anger in their hearts for men that look like them, because to a certain degree, those young men have been failed. Now, regardless if the father didn't have as much control over the situation or not, the child doesn't understand that.
Absolutely not.
The child just knows that, you know what, he isn't here, and here's this other man trying to tell me what to do, and I'm angry. And as soon as I look at him, I think of my father.
Yeah, absolutely. And just thinking about, you just said this. So when we would get them and we would try to enforce some rules, regulations, and some expectations, it was always pushback. And
my God,
it was always an extreme amount of pushback from the young men. And then they would look at you up and down like, who you talking to? Who you trying to tell what to do?
Oh my God.
And to your point, it comes from those relationships that between adults. Between adults.
Yes.
And then now those feelings are filtered down.
It's like
to
a
the
funnel.
child.
It's like a funnel.
It's like a funnel,
right down to the child.
Absolutely.
And unfortunately, the child is the loser in this. Well, actually, the adults are too. They just don't realize it. But the one thing that's great, and you said it earlier, we coming up with some solutions tonight. We're going to come up with some ideas, something we can do to help those who've been disenfranchised, those who've been not active in the young people's lives. We got to reestablish those relationships. And the one thing that we must do is, our genes versus genes segment. I can't wait till we do part 2 of that. We talked about being conscious of the way we raise our daughters.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
And Calvin and I can attest to this. And, he worked in juvenile facilities before. And he's come to King and done some work and volunteered at several different schools. He and I were talking one day, now if there's a fight in the school, I couldn't believe it, but 80% of the time, if there's a fight in school, it's girls.
It's young ladies,
if not 90. So our young women, we talk about that our boys need their fathers, but those girls need their fathers. And you got this emotional young lady who needs father and needs that attention and love, who doesn't get it. They have become so angry and bitter at an early age that we've got to do something to rescue them from what's going on, because right now, they are at a point right now where you see them doing some things that's unbelievable at an early age. That's scary to see what they're going to look like in about 5-10 years.
Oh, absolutely. Hey, Q, can you turn this up? They saying that they could barely hear the volume online for whatever reason. So they saying turn this up in the headphones. We in the studio for real. So think about this.
Yes.
When these things happen, and I was hoping that we could have got Al on, the clinical therapist, to talk more about this, because we want to give that solution. And me and him was talking earlier, and he talked about he called it, I think it was the absent father syndrome or something to that effect. And obviously when a young man does not have that discipline and his father is not there, he's going to go awry, because by nature, mothers are not a disciplinarian. They're nurturers by nature. And we have that structure and discipline to put in them. But when the young man has been doing things in a fashion that does not have any structure or discipline, what does he do? When he see us, he's going to buck the system.
No question.
And then now we're frowned upon because we're being those men in the community that need to stand up and do the right thing.
And fill in those gaps.
And absolutely filling those gaps. So, but listen, fellas, everybody who's listening in, at 9 o'clock, we're going to do our toast now. At 9 o'clock, wherever you at, if you at your house, because if you...
I hope you're not driving. If you're driving,
no, we know they're not driving.
Just do a salute.
We gonna do our toast, and for the men, to all the men, to all the fathers, and then for the ladies, I know it's a number of ladies listening in. Y'all may want to toast somebody that y'all love, a dad figure, somebody that's around.
Call in,
and then that call
send us
in
a message,
and you can actually send a text to 313-314-8880 if you got any questions, and you can put it on Facebook. We maybe can scroll through and catch y'all on that. But if you send a text, I can read it right here. I have my phone right next to me. We have it all set up so we can see it that way. So let's keep moving forward. So brother Calvin, with your organization, can you tell us more about Good Fathers Only? So y'all make sure our t-shirt and it says GFO.
Yes.
Good fathers only. Gee, turn around. Let me read the back to the people what it says.
Read it back to the folks.
It's what it says on the back. A child touches the hand of their father. Suddenly, every dream becomes possible.
Yep.
Every dream becomes possible.
Yep. Calvin, man.
And Calvin, man, just tell us a little bit more about y'all organization and the good things that y'all are doing in the community.
Well, we decided. Can you hear me? Okay.
Yes, sir. It's loud and clear.
Right. So in 2008, we decided that fatherhood was the answer, right? Because we were looking at a number of things. And so what was missing was the fact that so many fathers had run-ins with a number of situations. So we were I was selling shirts, and a brother walked away saying he owed $100,000 in child support. And that's when we realized we needed to do more than just be a clothesline. And in 2018, an organization called Moms and Dads of Michigan gave us their nonprofit.
Oh, nice.
Right? And we became Good Fathers Only. Kids Need Both Parents.
You muted yourself.
Yeah, you muted yourself, Cal.
You can't hear me?
Yes,
we
sir.
can hear you now.
Yep. In that process, what happened was we kept discovering value.
Okay.
In 2014, we did a men's issue conference with some of the top fatherhood practitioners in the country.
Okay.
The first ever men's issue conference.
Okay.
And at that conference, I explained that men were in the position of reaping what they had sown.
Wow.
So here we are today. Men are coming for that crown, right? Father.
Oh, yeah.
The Most High Father, our Father, right? The power of the Father and understanding how valuable you are and not throwing it away for foolishness, the pimping, the tiptoeing, all of that. The most important dad is still the in-house father.
Oh, absolutely.
Wow. No question. Cal, you and I spoke yesterday briefly, and we talked about something that's dear to the heart. And this is something it's almost like a tug of war has been going on now. And you and I talked about this yesterday. I think the hardest thing for people, anyone, so I'm not targeting anybody, but it's hard for someone to relinquish power.
Right.
And I think that power has shifted to our moms, and for whatever reason, it's like a power struggle between the mothers and the fathers. What do you think about that? And how can we eliminate that? What can we do to kind of mend those fences, man, to make this thing better for our young people?
Well, one, manhood has to improve. Bottom line.
Yep.
How we conduct ourselves with our boys, with our families, have to improve. That's one. The other component to what we were talking about yesterday is the actual modeling. Right? The actual modeling. What is your modeling of fatherhood looks like to the boy? And because you're not in the house, as we talked about, because of these things, the boy is not getting his full nutrient. So physically, our boys, 7th, 8th grade, 6th grade, they're not maturing physically. Right? And so when you see the difference, and when you see a 7th grade girl and you see a 7th grade boy, there's a major difference in the two. The girl is getting all her nutrients from the in-house parent. The boy is not. And so that's one of the things that we have to do is we have to become more involved in our boys and girls' lives. We have to chase that, fight for that, reach for that. As far as the power, that privilege has always existed. They've been pushing that privilege on you Just like he just talked about when they made Mother's Day popular back then. They pushed that privilege on you for decades.
Yep.
And so that privilege then is cut loose. But when you look at other cultures,
Yes.
the man is still referenced. You're the only culture that is not referenced by way of the head of the house and handling the boys the whole nine. But every other culture handles their boys.
Brother Calvin, real quick, I'm glad, boy, your time is so perfect because listen,
9 o'clock.
It's time. It's 9 o'clock. It is time for our salute. Now I got my man GG. He got your stuff.
Man, appreciate
my man, he got his stuff.
Appreciate
now I don't know where y'all at. I hope Brother Calvin, you may have you some water or something.
Yep.
Whatever your cocktail of choice is. I'm hoping I got some brothers listening all the way from California down to Florida. I'm talking about a number of different places, maybe even in Atlanta. Hopefully y'all have y'all drink of choice so we could do our salute because I definitely want to give a salute to a few brothers. But right now, you don't have no glass. Q out, even our producer don't have his glass. Come on, man. All right. But we gonna do a salute. G, you wanna go and get a salute? Because the last one I gave you said it was kind of weak.
Nah, man, you know what? I want to salute all the fathers. Those that have overcome obstacles.
Yes, sir.
We understand it's a battle.
Yes, sir.
Those that have persevered and remain in their children's lives, in their extra children's lives, the bonus children's lives, their nieces, their nephews. I want
neighborhood kids.
What you mean? Neighborhood kids. Calvin had some kids out yesterday, some young people out yesterday across the street that he had given Emmys to, the T-shirts, and we'll talk about that at some other time. But all the things that these men are doing in the community, coaches, instructors, everybody that impacts and have given these young people a model, someone to look at. And oftentimes when people say they don't have anyone to look at, the pastors, the deacons, everybody who has an impact, the community organizers, everybody that fills in those gaps, we salute you because just as well as we understand the violence and things that are going awry in our community, they could be much worse. So again, to those men, and again, ladies, we appreciate you. We love you, but this is a Father's Day edition. Salute to you, brothers. We appreciate you. And those who aren't active in their children's lives like they should, stay tuned in because we're going to give you some ideas and some solutions to help you as well. Salute.
Salute. Here you go. Give me that toast, Julie. So no doubt about that, man. So I definitely got to salute my dad and the job that he did and over the years and always doing the things and what was best for giving that advice, okay?
Always.
And
to all of us though.
And to all of us. Oh, ain't no question. He wasn't gonna skip nobody. If you hanging out with me, you're gonna get the information. Yeah. So, but here's one thing that I want to talk about. I see we got my man brother Al on because fatherhood is not easy. It's not an easy gig. It's not easy at all. So with that, we have our brother Alvin Ward on. He's our guy. Yep. He's our in-house person, clinical therapist.
No doubt.
I mean, he do a great job. I was talking about you earlier, Al, when you couldn't get your stuff connected. I told him how every day, I'm listening to me, and I'm not exaggerating.
Every morning
he send me a text or he actually sends me an inspirational quote. Al, I think you got to unmute your mic because we want you to talk about, you said you gave a name earlier, and I don't want to step on your toes about what you told me, but tell everybody what you told me in terms of that gap that's not there.
Okay, yeah. Thank you guys for allowing me to be on your show. It's always a privilege. I'm always humbled to be with you guys. We talked about father wounds. And a lot of people have father wounds, whether we're adults or we're children, with the absence of our fathers. We deal with what we call abandonment issues or rejection issues for those who don't have them. Now, you talk to a lot of people, they say, well, I don't care about my father. But when these days, holidays come by, when they see other people, it still triggers the trauma, not having a father in your life. So it's important that we do have fathers. Our fathers are very important. I salute my father, who's 95 years old, and I still seek wisdom from him. But when we don't have fathers in our lives, and we have rejection issues or abandonment issues, and when we reject it or feel abandoned, it's going to impact our relationships moving forward. And oftentimes, We either become very smothering in relationships where we don't know nobody to leave us because, listen, I don't want to feel that pain again like I felt with the absence of my father. So we smother people, or we sabotage relationships. We push people away because we don't want them to get so close to us. But it's important that we understand our emotional trauma, have emotional intelligence, be able to be in touch and feel the pain and the issues that and deal with it. But to those who are fathers, we don't get manuals and how to be fathers. We just do the best we can. It's a struggle.
Absolutely.
I tell my children, I say I did the best I could, for where I was at that time and that space I was in. But, when I can do better, when I learn better, I try to do better. So what we have to do is ask our children to forgive us. Sometimes we just need to write them a letter. Sometimes we're not in their lives because their mom is angry at us and won't let us in our lives. But there's really no excuse. We still have to be fathers, and we still, as George Ward always said, you still have to be present. Don't just buy them presents. Be present in their lives. And so sometimes we just need to write letters to our children and to ask them to forgive us and ask them, how can we move forward? I wasn't there when you needed me at that time, but moving forward, what is it that you need me to do? How can I support you?
Wow. Man, and I say it all the time, and people, y'all have to understand brother Al, he's going to give us those words, and he's always going to give you some positive encouragement. Al, matter of fact, tell the story about the young lady that happened. I think it happened the other day, and you had a relationship with her many years ago. Just tell the story so people can hear the story. This is amazing to me.
Okay. Well, I was on a Zoom call the other day with an organization, and a young lady asked her husband who was on the call, "Is that Mr. Sims?" He said, "Yeah, that's what his name says." So she said, "Put in the chat box and ask him to call me." So I called her, and she said, "You probably don't remember me, Mr. Sims. I'm the class of '99." She said that you were a father to me. I said, "What do you mean?" She stated that when I got to Fitting High School, my father was a heroin addict. My mother was an alcoholic, and I was placed in a foster home. But you were always out in the hallway. You was always talking to me. She said, "Some of the things I'm going to tell you what you said to me." She said, "You told me don't be a baby's mama." I said, "What?" I said that. She said, "Yeah." He said, "Don't just be a baby's mama." And then you told me that, "Hey, I pay taxes. I'm not going to be paying for you on welfare." And she said, "I remember all those words that you told me," which of course I didn't remember. But she said, "Listen, I'm married. I have 2 children, and I'm doing very well now." She said, "I really thank you and all the kids, most of them at Finney High School. Thank you, because you was really our father there." So it was really touching and humbling. I really don't remember what I said. But the point being, though, we don't know when we're leaving our fingerprints, who we're touching, a gentle word, a gentle smile, a pat on the shoulder. We don't know how we're changing lives. And so I heard you guys talk about in the neighborhoods, coaches, anywhere you go, if you see a young man or a young girl, just speak into their spirit, try to pour something into them, a little love and light so that they can feel connected to somebody.
Wow. Oh no, man. Again, G, I know where you going, because G brain moving right now.
Well, you know what? It's crazy, Ralph, because Ralph and I have been talking about these topics for years. And Calvin and I, it was some young people across the street, and we were chit-chatting and just talking, and Calvin was talking about making sure you just approach some of the young people. And oftentimes we see a young person, they look at us with disdain. You go to the gas station, you go to the store, you see people on the street, and you can see the looks on their face, and you're saying, "My man, I don't ever recall seeing you before. I don't know why you grimming me like that." And I think what we must get back to doing is speaking.
Oh, absolutely.
Something as so minuscule as that, that can let the young person know, like, "Hey, man, how you doing? What's up, young fella?" Hey, give them some words of encouragement. Oftentimes they haven't received that. So I just think, when you look at these 2 gentlemen, what they're doing every day, and obviously some kind of way we receive some type of financial rewards for what we do. But I think if we weren't getting a dime, this is what we would be doing. And I think all of us need to reach out and see some of these young people. And if you're not physically grab them by the hand, grab them by the heart.
Yes, sir. I like that one, G.
Grab them by the heart.
Okay.
Say, "How you doing, young fella? Looking good, young fella. How you doing today, young fella?"
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, I mean, I don't know. I don't want to burn any bread on anybody, but you know what? I've never had any issues at gas stations, things of that nature. Because when I see the young fellas, I look at them in their eyes and say, "Man, how you doing, big fella? You all right?" And hey, what's up, Unc? That's a term of endearment.
Yeah.
And if we can continue to establish these relationships, and again, 15 seconds is not going to do it, but at least leave these young people with something positive to think when they see us sometimes.
Oh, absolutely. So I want to go to this. And Dad, you still on the line? Can you still hear us? Oh, he might have cut out a long time ago. He might have cut out. So what I want to do, since we all here, what do y'all remember that some advice that your father or father figure gave you that you still remember to this day?
Wow.
Hey, matter of fact, Al, you take. No, matter of fact, brother Cal, you
go
take that
first,
shot.
Cal.
So what I learned was work hard for everything, right?
Okay.
I was not taught to be speaking in limitation. I was taught to work hard for everything, right? Show up every day, perform the best of your ability, and work hard every little inch that you get, because you never know where that's going to take you. And,
Yes, sir.
Right. The other piece to that everyone has to really take in is understanding that creates the value. When you show up every day, you produce every day, that creates the value. I mean, like we always talking about sports, the best high level guys show up every game, every spot, work hard, and perform at the highest level. So that's one of the things that we have to instill in our boys, the importance of being consistent.
Wow.
Okay, absolutely. So Al, what do you remember? Because he's gone. So G, what do you remember?
My father, again, it's been documented before. He died February 14th, 1980.
Okay.
I'm 9 years old. I remember my father telling me, you hang with 9 broke friends, you're going to be number 10.
I heard that one.
You heard with 9 broke friends, you're going to be number 10. And one thing, Cal, Ralph, obviously you hear, people chuckle because they think it's about money. You need to go get some money. What he was saying is, whatever you hang around is what you're going to be.
Yeah.
And my father was so big. My parents were so big on the company that I kept. And to this day, I understand. I can honestly say, none of my guys have ever gotten me in trouble.
Okay.
No, none of my guys have ever gotten me in trouble. So I think, what you hang around is what you'll become. And as much as I know, I have a personality that's kind of invasive. It's kind of powerful. I can't change 9 people.
Yeah.
But 9 people can change 1.
Absolutely.
So I just think, my father telling me about that. And also the one thing that he always told me is you take care of the women in your life.
Okay.
Anybody that you're responsible for, you take care of them.
Okay.
And for me, if it means you got to get a second and a third job, then you do it.
Okay.
Your wife ain't supposed to go punch 2 clocks. If it has to be done, if it's got to be 3 jobs amongst 2 people, it's not 1.5, 1.5. It's 2 and 1. And
Absolutely.
the 2 is for the man and the 1 is for the woman, or 3 for the man and 0 for the woman. That's just how it's supposed to be. And I live by that.
So here's what I remember. It ties into what you said. I remember my father telling me, don't let nobody else get you in trouble. That was one of his pet peeves. Don't let nobody else get you in trouble. But then another one was be a leader and not a follower.
Oh, shit.
So then to this day, obviously, I'm never going to follow anyone who's on the wrong path. Now I'll follow you because most great leaders will follow.
We're good followers.
Yeah, absolutely. So, but you have to show me that. But that part of don't allow anyone else to get you in trouble has always stuck with me. Now I think about that. And to your point, you're like, dang, the people in my company that we keep 37 years in.
37 years in.
We ain't never got each other in trouble.
Nah.
You see what I'm saying? So when we think about
that, you have, but
that was you.
Hey, Ralph.
Ralph,
Can you hear me now?
police.
Yeah. So
Okay.
Al, I got the question was.
I heard
what do you,
it. I heard the question. I heard you.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm gonna tag in on what George said about the people you hang around. I'm gonna use two fathers. My father-in-law, who I have a great deal of respect for, he told me this story. He says, "Birds of the feather flock together,
Yep.
but if you wrestle with a turd, you're gonna smell like doo-doo."
Hold on, Al. Give me that one again, man. I heard it, but I gotta hear it again.
He said, "Birds of the feather flock together, but if you wrestle with a turd, you're gonna smell like doo-doo." So in other words, you gotta be careful who you hang with, George. The same thing you told me. Now, my dad, my biological dad told me, he told me a story. He said, "Son, there was a monkey running across the railroad track. A train came and hooked his tail came and got hooked. His tail got stuck on the train and was running across the track. And he looked back, but a train was coming. He reached back to get his tail, but the train cut his head off. He said, the moral of this story, son, don't lose your head over a piece of tail."
Oh,
Now
man.
you called for that one.
Hey,
Al.
dog.
I don't know who that was directed at. I can tell you that wasn't directed at me. That might have been directed at somebody else that's listening in.
Hey, Pops was cold. Pops was
No,
cold.
it was a
that.
cold piece of work, but man, I want to make sure that everybody, if you want to call in and salute somebody, saluted that. Don't be afraid. It's 313-314-8880. Y'all got to call in and say, I want to salute such and such, because it's some great men out here that I've met over the years. I just remember just going to my youngest daughter's school and always volunteering on the class trips, okay?
Yeah.
And it was always a good brother that was there, and his name was a big. All I know is Big Mac,
Yeah.
and he would always come on a trip, and then we exchanged numbers. He was like, "Man, Ralph, you going on the next trip?" I was like, "You already know I'm going." Anytime I could go, I would go. So I always appreciated that. You got to shout out Pops in terms of that, but it's just other people that we ran across over the years.
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell you another brother that I always found outstanding with my man Johnny Lewis.
Oh,
Man, I always found him a class act.
J. Lou.
Hey, listen, he was always a class act. So I definitely want to shout out him. I mean, it's so many guys, and I think about Brother Paul from the Palms. Then I think about which is not known as a Skybird, but before Brother Paul owned it, and he had all those daughters. He got a fight on his hands. But it's just so many other people. Obviously, our homeboys like Ron Ellison, L Baby, Hardy Johnson, Big D. You name them, Seuss, you name them all. But then it's those guys that I see, and I'm gonna kind of pull back. But you see older gentlemen who've been fighting the fight for many, many years, and they still married. I'm talking about still married. I don't even know how long Lisa and Mr. and Mrs. Rice been married, but they've been married for a long time. So I'm sure he's seen a lot of things, but he's done an outstanding job with his children.
Alvin's parents have been married 75 years.
Is it 75 years, Al?
Yep, 75 years.
Man, come on, man, stop it.
Well, I think this is a great segue for this.
Right.
Here we are. We're talking about young people who living in single homes or parents have gone through a divorce. I think about for instance, what Ralph you do every day. Being in the gap for someone else's child. I think for me, as again, by the time I was 14 years old, my mother remarried.
Okay.
And Raymond Vincent Miles Sr.
Yes, sir. Pops.
I mean,
rest in peace.
So for me, my mother did one thing that showed me that what women should do. Pick good fathers for your children.
Oh, so this ties into the good fathers only.
Good fathers only. My mother had Calvin must have made my mama the t-shirt in '69 or something. because George T. Ward Sr. and Raymond Vincent Miles Sr. were as great examples of men and manhood as I could see. And obviously my uncles, just great men, Robert Ferris Sr. So the list goes on and on. Thomas Edward Hardeman Sr. To see all the people in my family, I had examples that I could look at and say, hey man, this is what I want to do. This is what I want to be. So again, I salute those gentlemen, and I salute any man who can come into the life of a woman and say, you know what?
Oh, absolutely.
These are mine as well.
So let me say this. We had a caller, but they hung up. It was 9. The numbers started with a 969. Call back. I can hear you, Daddy. Daddy, you back on the line?
Yeah, man.
Yeah, but you kind of muffled a little bit, Dad.
All right, can you hear me now?
I can hear you now.
Something that you said rings so true. Like I used to tell you, don't let nobody get you in trouble.
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember the time? Do you remember the time when your mother had you to go pick up Willie Mae in my car?
Oh yeah, I remember that vividly.
Okay, and you knew that you weren't supposed to, but you didn't ask me, and you got in trouble about it.
Yeah, I got in trouble about it. It was real trouble, but you ain't have to tell this story on the air, though.
Hey, this is the thing, though. I need you to tell the story. My man told the story. I got fired from my coaching job because Ralph said I was driving drunk one night. He told that on the air. I need you to tell the story of what Ralph did, man, and he wasn't following directions, Pop. Give it to us real on the air.
Okay, Steve. Okay, here you go. Me and his mother was having a little party down in the basement. And his auntie wanted to come over, which was no problem. But we were busy, so his mother authorized him to take my car and go pick up his aunt. Don't get me wrong, there wasn't no problem picking up his aunt, but he knew he didn't have no license, no nothing else. So when he got back, I gave him the beers wax. You see what I'm saying? Because you know that's our car. You didn't get it authorized from me, and that stuck with him. Like I always told him, don't let me, your mother, your brothers, nobody else get you in trouble. If you're going to get in trouble and have some problems, make it be your own. You follow me?
Oh, yeah.
And that has been for real all the time throughout all our history, And I gave all my sons the basic same information because that's what it is. Because you're going to be your own individual person, no matter what else it is. I can suggest what to do, and what you choose to do is fine, but that's how that goes. But I remember that vividly, that I looked outside, I thought my car was stolen. Hey, what the heck going on? My car's on. Here comes his mother.
I can't hear.
He could go get it. Really? Did you? And I really wasn't displeased with her per se. I was more displeased with him, but knowingly that he didn't have the authorization to go get that his auntie. And that was a story that went on for a while with he and I. We laugh about it now, but it was big at that time.
Oh, ain't no. So, Dad, real quick, and this is another thing. This is what I tell people this all the time. And anybody who was from Cooley who came around at that time. And Dad, I'm gonna click you up because I got another caller. But this okay, that's fine. Caller. But one thing that I think that we have to do is getting back to is this as dads. And my dad, and G, this, he would always say what? Yeah. I love you. I love you. And he would always say, it didn't matter where we was at, and he would always come give me a kiss on the cheek. So those type of things, exactly. You don't realize how much young people, how that get them through the day.
Always tell me, every time you see me, we hug, you kiss.
There you go. It's those type of things that I remember, and I'm always appreciative. But G, listen, we got so many people calling. G want to do some shout outs.
Okay, but
some shout outs, G.
Okay, son, but right quick,
I think it's
right quick before you click me off.
Go ahead.
Right quick before you click me off, and I know you got to go. I very rarely missed the Cooley game, and when I would come up there, I would hug and kiss you. You see what I'm saying? All the guys on the TV just knew me. You know what I'm saying? That's what I did. That's what you got to show your kids love. Okay, go ahead and get somebody else. Huh?
Yep, the show number.
313. It's crazy. Y'all call in. 313. Kelvin Shepherd, as great a man as we'll ever find in our neighborhoods in our city, as an outstanding D-back coach, Hall of Fame guy in the state of Michigan. Kelvin Shepherd, that's the number. I'll tell you. 313. 314. 88.
Because I'm not taking enough.
I also want to shout out none other.
Okay, go ahead.
And he's like family to me. Vic Adams. Vic, man, you've been around me since elementary school. Your mom, man, was a teacher at Quarry Elementary. You extended the pipeline. SMU, University of Missouri, so many guys, man. Vic, good to see that you on. It's good to see that you talking to us, man. I appreciate the love. And again, shout out to all the dads.
Hey, G.
Ray Miles, man, shout us out. Calvin, man, you put on there. Them shirts are dope, man, because you did it. You trying to do that. Come on, that's false. That's marketing, man. You can't take free marketing. Give us a couple dollars for that. But
Hey, G, do you know?
I think we're gonna
Let me
bring
tell
them back
you
into.
about
Go ahead,
Victor
Calvin.
Adams.
tell us about Vic. You tell us. Go ahead, Cal.
Victor Adams used to sing for my mom.
See, you really know him then. See, I know that.
Vic was my sister's boy. Vic, my brother.
Come on, man.
Like Vic was in my life from probably age 9,
Wow.
8, 9. Back then, remember on New Year's Eve, your parents used to allow you to get a sip.
Mm-hmm.
And Victor introduced us to Hoppin' Gator beer, dog.
Listen, real quick, Calvin. Tell everybody where, because I think we need to support Brother Calvin.
Ain't no question.
Where can they get all the good fathers? Because Father's Day coming up. I think we should flood Brother Calvin and buy a number of shirts. Where can they purchase these shirts at that we have on?
TheGoodFathersOnly.com.
Okay, goodfathersonly.com.
The
goodfathersonly.com.
My man, we got another caller real quick. Who we caller? Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Who is that? Who is that we speaking with right now?
Coach Shepard from King High School.
Coach Shepard from King. Okay, Coach Shep. Go ahead, Coach Shep.
Coach Ward, how you doing, young fella?
Man, you know I'm good, man. We hear you, so we good, man.
Well, it's a great topic and subject as we have talked before, and as you know, Coach, our Black community has always been off the shoulders of strong women, but there's also the compliment of a Black man. But at the same time, it's a two-way street of a Black man being able to make the effort to show a Black woman that he's worthy of doing some of the things that he does.
Yes.
So now, with that being said, I have a father who has made history in the state of Michigan, city of Detroit, on some things he's done as an entrepreneur.
Okay.
But at the same time, as you know, it's always a struggle. For every step that we take, that's one step. It's really 4 to 5 steps because it's so much held against you. But as a strong Black man, he was always determined to fulfill his dreams and all that kind of stuff. Yep. And at the same time, Coach Ward, as you know, as a coach, we try to instill dreams into our young Black men to try to strive to do something. But the cultivation of getting them to a point of where they can understand what we're talking about is lacking in the history of them understanding where they come from.
Yes, sir.
So I say that to say this. It's been a struggle, as you well know, because of the way our young people have changed over the years and the way social media has brainwashed them to understand the negative side of what's really true about being a strong Black man.
Yes.
So I applaud the show simply for the fact you're getting back to the grassroots for truth. You're getting back to the grassroots for exposing what's really going on in our community. And as you know, I am dealing with some things right now, but at the same time, life still goes on. And our young Black men have to understand.
Yes, sir.
Life goes on. If you choose to do stupid things, the jail system that America has waiting on you is still waiting. But at the same time, it's never, ever bad advice when you tell them the truth about where you got to go. Because, hey, tell those young men to walk a mile in our shoes that we have walked for umpteen years and then come back and tell us they got a better way or they know how to solve the problems of what's going on as far as being Black men.
Wow, man, Coach, we definitely appreciate the comment, the call in, and make sure y'all go to subscribe to YouTube.
Yes.
Go to our channel, tap the bell, hit the likes, because we want to have these conversations in our community that will absolutely spring forward the next generation, because
Wow.
once we're gone, we
Say
have
it.
to give that information. And if the information dies with us, what good is us having the
Come on,
information?
man.
So we got to teach our young men, our young women, and in terms of fatherhood and doing the right thing, man. I'm telling you, G, I'm so excited because this show to me has been one of these things. Like, I wish we could just keep going on and on, but I'm sure. Do we got any more callers? Any more?
We got any more callers? I want to say this.
Go ahead, G.
And we did this on Mother's Day. Irby Hinton. A lot of times we don't talk about.
G, we got
to call him. I'm gonna get back to this. Let's go, caller.
Caller, you on the air? Who are we speaking with?
Hey, how you doing, man? Malik Sims.
Malik Sims, how you doing, brother Malik?
Wow.
I'm doing good, man.
What's your comment? What's your concern? Tell us something. I know you. It sounds like you got something on your mind.
No, I just wanted to go ahead and shout out my dad, man, Alvin Sims, man. Happy Father's Day, man.
Oh, man.
Thanks for all the wisdom, man.
You gonna make me cry, man. I love it, man. You gonna make me cry.
Yeah, man.
Do I got some tissue back here? I'm gonna cry.
Yeah,
Listen, some tissue back here. I can move, but yeah, no, we appreciate that, man, because think about it. We forget about that public affection for the adult males.
What you talking about?
We forget about that. It goes a long way. I promise you. Young fella Malik, your dad is proud. Listen. I think he wiping his tears, but he ain't gonna tell us that. But he gonna act like he had his football days. But it gives me chills to hear that the young brother come on and
Publicly.
See, it's one thing to do it in the house. Publicly acknowledge his dad, man.
Malik, did you graduate? Are you the one to graduate from Kentucky State?
Yes, sir. I'm a thoroughbred. Yes, sir.
Thoroughbred, mad love, man. We proud of you. HBCU, you're a thoroughbred like your dad. We appreciate the call in. Enjoy your Father's Day with your dad, whether you're here or whether you just calling. You call him and talk to him on Sunday, but we appreciate you. I do want to say something that's dear.
Go ahead.
We talk about, on Mother's Day, our episode was about the perseverance and the strength of our mothers.
Absolutely.
Bertha Fly Fleming, Carol Bush were on the show.
Yeah.
It was amazing to watch the strength of these women.
Yeah.
But I want you to think about this.
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
The
I know where you go.
The one thing that we don't talk about.
I think he's happy. He go to bed not to watch the game, but he happy. I'm
As
on
well,
support.
as a child. I want y'all to think about the equal sign when y'all were in math.
Yeah. Two lines.
See, the one thing is two lines.
Yeah.
Parallel. But I want you to think about this. There's no greater than or less than. It's equal.
Equal to.
Dad said earlier, the love, I tell, I tell Latoria Ward, I tell Lori Ward, you don't love the children any more than I do.
Absolutely.
I can
not.
guarantee you, I'm at the max.
Yeah.
I love my children at the max. I don't care. I love my nephews at the max, my nieces at the max. So because I'm willing to provide the discipline, because I'm willing to lay down at night and say, you know what? I don't care how they felt about my decision.
Yes, sir.
It's going to be better for them in the long run.
Mm-hmm.
But I want you to think about this. When we go to funerals, people talk about the mother that lost a child.
Hold on, we have another caller.
Oh,
it's a special call down here. Who is on this call right now? Caller, can you hear me?
Hi.
This is a special
Happy
call.
Father's Day.
Thank you, Pumpkin. It's my
London.
youngest daughter. She done called in. Thank you, Pumpkin. I appreciate it. Now, see, this is not it. Really, it be crying on the air. Yeah. Thank you, Pumpkin. How you doing today?
Good.
What you was doing? You at home chilling with your mama?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Wow.
And so I already know. Did your mother tell you to call, or this was on your own?
This is just on my own.
It was on your own? Oh, okay. I thought maybe she put you up to it, but I'm going to tell you, Punkin, I appreciate you calling, and I will see you on Saturday because you're spending the night. So make sure I'll call you because we got other callers calling in. But I want to say this, that niece, hey, baby, you see Uncle George say, hey, did you hear him?
Hi, yeah, I heard him.
Okay. Hey, baby. So I appreciate you calling in, babe, live on the air. We appreciate you. That public affection, but she, like, London is that way. No, she is absolutely that. So we have other callers, but thank you, babe. I'll call you a little later, okay?
Okay, bye. Love you.
Love you too. So I just think about her. Yeah. But then her mom. See, her mom. Uncle. Talk to her. This is my man. Talk to her. Uncle Bo. Now, Uncle Bo stepped in. Man, stop playing. Stepped in. Listen. If you didn't know, you'll be like, "Oh, that's dad." That's the dad. But so he's been around, and he's just one of the best people I've ever met. Because when I was like, "That shit, your uncle?" Yeah. But so to have that, and for her to be able to have that, somebody to fill that gap for her, I'm sure it's outstanding. She talks about it all the time whenever the subject matter comes up. So for us, man, I'm telling you, if y'all want to call in, y'all a little shy out there. 313-314. 8880. Y'all, I know we running over, but it's the Father's Day edition. We can stay all night on this one. You know what I mean?
Well, also, hey, while I'm sitting here before we close out, I think I tell people the role of the father, the role of the father is to make sure that I think your ultimate role as a father, and I came up with this on my own, nobody told me this. Your ultimate role is to make sure your grandchildren are taken care of. Man, you went deep. Well, because if your grandchildren are going to be taken care of, you had to do something for your children. You had to make sure your children were taken care of. Absolutely. And you had to give them the lessons. Oh no, for me, to see that legacy, to see that your children are self-sufficient enough to take care of those that they're responsible for. So for me on Father's Day, when you see the flyer, I had my grandchildren were there, my children, bonus children, my niece. Yeah. So to look at it, I must say again, happy Father's Day. I know he's working. Happy Father's Day to my son. Oh, absolutely. I think for me, and you and Quincy haven't had the opportunity to experience that yet. Yeah. But for me to be able to say Happy Father's Day and buy my son something on his first Father's Day, I think for me to just call him on his first Father's Day was one of the most amazing things in the world, because to see him as a little boy, and again, we're going to see Uncle Ralph, we to watch him grow up and become a man, and for him to not bother me and ask me for a dime since he was 18 years old, and he's now 30. To see what he's doing with my two grandchildren, I think for me is the greatest thing in the world. It makes me feel like I did something right. If I ain't do nothing right, I think I did that right. So again, happy Father's Day, Black. Proud of you, man. Happy Father's Day, Dad, down in Columbus, Georgia. But I want to say this. It's funny that my youngest daughter called in. Yeah. I have a picture up on the mantle, and I think she was 3 on the picture. I know her mother would know the day, the time, and the actual minute. I think she was 3, and we were walking. We were playing over at Renaissance doing Cooley Alumni Weekend. You gotta tell me. And she's looking up, and she's looking up at me. Yeah. And but to the shirt that Brother Calvin Man gave, man, turn around. I gotta repeat this again. Man, just take yours off. I want to, man, turn around, man. I want to read it again. A child touches the hand of their father. Suddenly, every dream becomes possible. Yeah. And as we were walking, I look at that, and she was looking up. So I'm appreciative of my children. I'm appreciative of my dad. Obviously, it's just one of those things where when you look at it, you say, man, we've been blessed. We've been blessed, man. Our grandfathers, Joe D. Peterson. Listen, come on, man. Our grandfathers. Listen. Pastor Smith. Steve. Neil Henry. Neil Henry. See, they don't know. Don't you say it on the air. Hey, so we have to think about those things and those people, those legacies that's been given to us, and all the fathers. We want to say happy Father's Day. Happy Father's Day. We have to do more.
Brother Calvin, before I think everybody checked out, but it's okay. We appreciate Brother Calvin, man, Brother Alvin Stills, and of course,
No,
my
I'm here. I got
who
one
came
for you.
on and he finally got everything together. But we appreciate the callers who called in because, man, it is a wonderful experience just to hang out with good guys. People always say, man, you and G been hanging for a long time. People see me, man, you and GD, y'all still hanging out?
Ain't no question.
Yeah.
Ain't no
And actually, listen, next weekend we going to Vegas for a big fella birthday, for the 50th out in LB. But to the point is only this. Is that when you make those friends and you have some things in common, you have those children, we have to do a better job. And we're doing it. And we're going to continue to do it on State Champions Podcast. Remember, go to YouTube, subscribe, hit the like, hit the bell, so you will have the next episode. We need our team members to get in the game. We have to do it because the more we do it, the more people see us, and we can continue to get the information. Shout out to Brother Alvin Sims, a licensed clinical therapist that's giving great information. When every time we call on, he comes on the show. But I think that we're going to end it here next week. We're going to probably do we may as well do a birthday celebration
We're gonna do a birthday celebration for D.
for Big D.
We're gonna tie in some of the information for our community. Look, let's reestablish the village. One father at a time, one relationship at a time. Let's mend these fences between us and our children. And again, fellas, if you want the lady back, the easiest way to get to your lady and your ex-lady is to go through your child. Love on your child, love on her child. The one thing that she loves more than anything in this world is her children. Do what you're supposed to do as it relates to your children, as it relates to her children. Things can get better, man. Let's reestablish who we are. We the leaders in our community. We not the followers. I don't care how much money you don't make. I don't care what you're not doing. Be the factor. Be the leader in the lives of your children, and the lives of your people, and the lives of your ladies, and see what happens. We love y'all.
Hey, listen, it ain't nothing for me to say but peace. See you when I see you.
Yeah.
We out of here. State Champions Podcast. Tune in next Thursday night, 8:30. We'll be here. Peace.
Yeah. We about to toast.
Y'all want to go? Y'all want to go live on Facebook? Well, we can get some music going. Oh man, we got to get out. All right, we'll see y'all next week, Thursday, 8:30.
Class 88, Cooley Hat. Where you at?